Hey, and welcome back. Today we're taking a look at a brand new company, Chemistry Cymbals. Now, if you haven't heard of this brand, I don't blame you. They're brand new to the market, and it actually comes from the same team that runs Undigital Drums here in my home state of Wisconsin. In my stops there over the last year, I've been able to talk with Dennis and Tim, who work there on the regular, about this line of cymbals and what they're aiming to do and add to the marketplace. And I'm really excited to be able to play them now and see the results of their hard work. Now, they're not exactly making these cymbals in-house on site in Kenosha, but they're designing them in part with a company overseas in China, and they're made of high-quality B25 alloy. All the cymbals we're checking out today are part of their Element series, which is really their most traditional and versatile range they offer. In that line, they offer 14 and 15-inch hi-hats, 16 through 20-inch crashes, and 21 and 22-inch ride cymbals. In addition to the Element range of cymbals, they also offer 3 other series, all made of B20 alloy, so still a very high quality professional level material. Those include the Acid crashes, which are 12 to 20 inch crashes that have holes cut out of it, similar to an Ozone or EFX cymbal. The Compound series, which includes small stack pairs, bells, and a clap set. And then you have the Hot plates, which come in 10, 12, 14, and 18-inch sizes, which are super thin, splash-like cymbals that offer a really interesting tone or are also very great for using in stack scenarios. I was able to take the trip down to Kenosha a few weeks ago and visit Dennis and try out a bunch of these cymbals in the store, and I was really blown away with everything I heard. But it was really great to sit and talk with Dennis for a while about his experience getting this off the ground and learn more about the void they're trying to fill in today's marketplace. I made sure that I brought my own sticks down just so I could try to get the best representation of my playing on the various cymbals they offer, and in the end, I picked out the cymbals you're seeing here, which includes 18 and 19-inch crashes, a 21 and 22-inch ride, and a set of 15-inch hi-hats. The reason I went for these sizes was I thought I'd be able to mix and match them in various ways to work with almost any gig I do. This is a little different than the cymbals I usually play, especially when it comes to the hi-hats, but when I tried these in the store, they blew me away. When it came to the crashes, I went with larger sizes because I find them to be a little warmer than the smaller ones, but even the 17 and 16-inch crashes I played there were really wonderful. I think these have a nice mix of being able to crash, but also playing on top of them and get some nice definition as a small jazz ride. The two ride cymbals I picked out are very similar in size, but I found this 21 to be perfect for the pop and rock stuff I do, as it has a bell that cuts a little bit more and a little bit more definition on the top of it. And this 22 feels like it's almost the same weight as the 21, but since it has a little bit more dimension to it, it's a little bit washier, nice for crashing and playing lighter jazz on. Now, as much as bringing these home and playing them in my studio was a great test of them, for me, the real test came on bringing them out to gigs. The first weekend I had these, I brought them out to a church gig I had playing modern worship music. And yes, I did make sure to ask the sound guy and worship pastor first, because if you have any experience playing at churches, do not touch the drums unless you're allowed to. For that worship gig, I used the 18 and 19-inch crashes, the hi-hats, and the 22-inch ride. I got some really nice feedback from the sound team, and it was a nice chance to hear how they sound under microphones, because in that setting I'm wearing in-ear monitors, so I don't hear as much of acoustic sound in the room. I'm getting most of my response through the microphones back through my mix. A few days later, I had a gig at a small club playing the music of the Meters, and for this gig I chose to bring out the 21-inch ride, 18-inch crash, and the hi-hats, and I thought the cymbals had a nice, tight sound to them, and didn't overpower the room, which was huge in a setting like that. Going into the weekend, I had a corporate jazz gig in an old bank building that had been turned into an event venue, so it had very hard marble floors, super tall ceilings, and is really one of the most challenging acoustical rooms I've played in my area. For this gig, I brought out the 22-inch ride, 19-inch crash to use as a secondary ride, and the hi-hats, and I was very skeptical that I'd be able to get these cymbals to stay under control, because they are new and bright, and honestly, they sounded great, and the guitar player who was sitting right next to me commented on how much he liked the sound of these hi-hats. Finally, a day later, I had a gig filling in at a small club with a blues band, and I decided to bring out the 21-inch ride, 19-inch crash, and 15-inch hats, and I thought these did a nice job covering the range of styles, because sometimes in blues music you want the more washy, jazzier sound, and sometimes you want tight articulation. Overall, I was super impressed trying these out on a variety of gigs, and I also brought them in here to the teaching studio and let my students play on them throughout the week, and got great feedback. The thing that really blows me away about these cymbals is the price point that you can buy them at. As of right now, they're only selling direct to consumer, so you can go to the Chemistry Cymbals website or their Reverb page to purchase these. But the most expensive cymbal I have here comes in at $300, with the two crashes coming in closer to $200, and the hi-hat pair being $320 for two cymbals. Their other lines of cymbals are even more affordable, but I really hate bringing this up because I don't want to give you the impression that these are budget cymbals. These are amazing cymbals, they sound great, and I'd put them up with high-end brands like Zildjian, Sabian, or Paiste, and they're top-of-line cymbals. The other thing I want to talk about before closing out this video is customer service. This is a very new brand and a very small team. So if you reach out to them, you're likely going to talk to Dennis, who's the owner of the company who designed all these models and has been prototyping them over the last year. I know that he would be glad to talk with you about what cymbals work for you, or if you have a warranty issue and need one replaced, he'll take care of it very quickly. I've been extremely impressed with these cymbals, getting to use them for the various gigs I've had and here in my studio over the last few weeks. And one of my favorite things I took away from talking with Dennis was that you don't need to throw away all your other cymbals and invest in a set of strictly chemistry cymbals. These are very complementary cymbals and will blend nicely with tons of other cymbals you already own. Personally, I'm really excited to see our Wisconsin drum community growing, so seeing this brand come out of Wisconsin gives me a lot of pride. In full transparency though, I am an artist with another cymbal company, and my relationship with them is great, so I'm going to be bringing these cymbals back to Dennis at Undigital Drums, but you should absolutely check them out. I'll have links in the description for their website, reverb page, and social media, and that's a great place to go listen to more of these cymbals because they have a lot of videos up there, all very raw and unedited, just shot on an iPhone. If you've made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear what you think about this new brand, and until next time, thanks.